So I wanted to talk tonight about managing your mind. Karen, I'm digging the bangs. I'm just now seeing that. You probably put up a post today about it. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. You probably feel so fresh. All right. So I know we talk a lot about mindset, but I'm not lying when I say that 90% of this business is overcoming our mindset. And so I feel like it's something that we cannot talk about enough because it's going to smack you in your face every single day. And so I took a couple notes, so bear with me. But we talk about discipline all the time. We talk about consistency all the time, and that's great and everything. I am currently I'm taking a leadership course, and we've been going over something called the perfectionism procrastination loop and how they kind of like feed into each other. And so I want to kind of touch on that a little bit tonight because we all, I'm sure, get in spouts where we feel like we're trying to be perfect, where we feel like we're comparing ourselves to other people, whether it be on our team or on our social media. And maybe it's preventing you or it's stopping you from showing up 100% in your business. And so maybe it's you checking that post 10 times before you write it out, or you're sitting there and 30 minutes, 45 minutes go by and you're still trying to figure out what to say because you want it to sound perfect and you don't want to sound salesy, and you're checking your notes 10 times before you do a live video and you're recording yourself. And then like you've wasted all this time in trying to get ready to do the thing because you're trying to make it perfect. And one thing that, we've been talking about in this course is that so many people strive for perfect and they strive for like their A+ effort. And if you think back to your childhood, a lot of the times you can kind of see where this perfectionism kind of breeds a little bit, because it doesn't start with you. It doesn't start with you and you joining this business where you feel like you all of a sudden need to be perfect, or you feel like you're not enough, or you're scared to do something that you've never done before. A lot of the times it stems from a place way before you ever even acknowledged it. And for you, that may be trying to get good grades for your parents so that you felt loved in return, or maybe it's trying to be really good at sports so that you had the love and the affection from that parent, or maybe it's you can see this play out if you actually think back on your childhood, think back to your adolescence, think back on your life a little bit. And who was it that you were trying to gain that approval from the most? Was it your parents? Was it your peers? And what did you feel like on the inside that you had to do to be able to receive that? And that's kind of where it starts. And so when you get into a business like this and you're doing something that's unfamiliar, you're doing something that's scary, it's kind of like automatic for us to feel like we're not enough, or to feel like we want the approval of others and we're chasing likes and comments and followers. And you kind of get lost in trying to create the perfect post or the perfect live video or the perfect training for your team. And you kind of lose yourself along the way, and you look back. And I mean, I can even look at my posts and my live videos where I tried to be perfect and it didn't, I don't want to say convert as well, but it didn't come across. Like, you look at my content that if I say, okay, I went like A+ effort on here, I thought it was just going to be like this bomb post and I was going to get so many likes and so many comments and so many, like so much engagement on that thing that I put my A+ effort into. But then I look at a post like that stupid reel that I did that was, it has like over 15,000 views on it, where it was like tricky, tricky, tricky. It ridiculous. Like that right there was not my A+ effort. Okay. That was just me being stupid on reels and having fun, and people liked it. And one thing that we're talking about in our class is that people think that it's like this A+ effort that's going to get you places and you're stuck in trying to create A+ work when B- work changes lives. And nobody's looking for A+ effort from you. Nobody's looking for you to be perfect. Nobody's looking for you. Like, they're not just waiting and watching you to see when you go 4K, or to see when you get that car bonus, or to see when you start to rank up, or you start to achieve these goals. They're not waiting for that moment to join you, but that's what you're thinking in your head, right? We get inside our heads and we think, nobody's going to want to join me yet because I don't have anything to show for this business yet. Nobody's going to want to join me yet because my paychecks are only $20. Nobody's going to want to join me yet because I don't know how to talk about the business, right? We all get into this mindset, and then we get stuck in like this feeling like we have to be perfect, but then also like procrastinating because we don't feel like we're good enough yet. And it's this loop that goes back and forth where you're just like, you're stuck, but we didn't break it down enough for you to realize that it's not about you trying to create perfect things, or trying to create perfect posts, or trying to create perfect live videos. It's about you trying to create a perfect feeling on the inside. It's not the thing. Where did I write it down at? It's not about being perfect. It's about feeling perfect, which is a very destructive way of thinking. And if you break that down a little bit further, we find ourselves in these moments where we feel like we're trying to be perfect because we want people to like us, and we want to feel accepted, and we want to feel loved by other people. But if you really dissect it, if you really open up the onion and you peel back the layers, the reason why you feel that way is because you haven't given that to yourself first. And you have to move forward with self-acceptance and self-love to stand strong in what you're doing and stand strong in your beliefs and portray that image on your social media to other people. That is where you're going to change lives, because you're not stuck in feeling like you have to have likes and followers and comments to feel accepted, to feel good enough, to feel like you're enough, because you know that you're enough on the inside first. And how can we ever give that to somebody else? How can we ever gift that to somebody else that may be struggling in the same area if we haven't given ourselves that gift first? And we haven't showed ourselves what it means to have self-love. And I wrote down here, trying to achieve perfection will lead you to two things. It's going to lead you to burnout, and it's going to lead you to failure. What I mean by that, you feeling like you got to put that perfect post, or you got to say the right thing, or hope that you don't come across salesy, or in your conversations with potentials, in your conversations with customers, feeling like you've got to say the right thing to be able to get them to say yes. That's going to lead you to burnout, and it's going to lead you to failure, because people are going to feel that inauthenticity. Is that a word? Inauthenticity behind it, because you didn't bring that to the table. And so it starts with loving yourself first. It starts with waking up in the morning, and you may not believe that you're enough right now, but you have to train your brain. And when you start to hardwire your brain into thinking positively, into gratitude, into your I ams in the morning, if you say something like, let's say you have $20 in your bank account right now, and it's Monday, and you're having to wait until Friday, and you're constantly negative, and you're thinking, oh my God, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And you're like in panic mode, and you're living in scarcity. And that's your truth, right? Like that's your circumstance. But if in your brain you tell yourself, I am a millionaire with Lavelle, right? Or I am a 200K leader, I am a 40K leader, I am a 12K leader, I am a 4K leader, whatever that next step is for you, whatever it is that you're reaching for, you tell yourself that you have a 5-figure savings account, whatever you're working on, that like chemically lights something up in your brain, and your brain, it's kind of like it makes it take notice a little bit, and it's like, hold up, what did she just say, right? And you start to move your life in the direction of your strongest thought, like Craig Groeschel says. Your life is always going in the direction of your strongest thought. So if you're sitting there with $20 in your bank account and you're saying, I'm never going to get out of this hole, there's no way I'm going to make it out, oh my God, like what if this happens, what if that happens, this is terrible, my life is crap, like all these things, then your life is going to go that direction. Your life is going to go that direction because you put your brain in that direction, which puts your actions in that direction, which puts your results in that direction. It's the same thing as that thermostat analogy that I use a lot. So you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror. I want you to seriously, like, be serious about your I ams. There's been plenty of days where I used to just foo-foo it off, like, I am strong, I am a leader. Like, believe it and say it with conviction, and look at her in the mirror and say, I am a leader. I am 4K. I am capable. I am enough. I am capable of leading a 4K sales team. I am a sponsor monster, whatever you want to call it, right? I know that sounds silly, but these are things that I've been saying to myself for a very long time. And what you can see is that I show up differently on my timeline than most network marketers, right? And so it's in that you start to get different results than most network marketers. And what we have, like, I'm not going to go into, but you know what we have our hands on, in that if you can't be proud of where you're at right now, if you can't speak that with conviction, then you need to get like real deep inside here and figure out what you're fighting for. And get real with yourself on why you clicked that promoter button. I am reminded of why I said yes all the time. I left my house this morning, it was dark. I came home this evening, it was dark. My babies were already in bed, and I didn't see my kids. They were already in bed, and I had to go open their doors and say, hi, good night. And that right there breaks my heart. That right there breaks my heart. And if you Google the amount of quality time that an American family on average spends with their family every single day, is 37 minutes. That breaks my heart, right? And so I show up differently because I want to create differently for my life. Of course I do. But I want to show other women that it's capable, that they are capable of doing the same thing for themselves, and to know that they're not stuck, and to know that they are not a product of their current circumstances, that they can move differently and have differently, and let them know what is out there and what's available to them to be able to make that change in their life, right? So if you feel like you can't like speak that into with conviction to your social media, whether it be a live video, face to face on stories or whatever, then I want you to write down what breaks your heart about your life right now. Is it that you're overdrafting fees? Is it that you owe in taxes? Is it that you don't have time with your family like you want it? Is it that you don't have a savings account? Is it that you can't fill your gas tank all the way up? Is it that you have to pay attention real close when you go to the grocery store, and you would love that feeling of just going to the grocery store and being able to buy whatever you want, right? I always wanted a pantry before I moved down to Richmond a year ago. We didn't have a pantry. All we had was the roundabouts in our kitchen. And to me, like freedom, of course, is like escaping the time clock. Like that's the big dream for me. I'm sick and tired of it. But freedom is also knowing that in any given moment, you have everything that you need in your pantry for your family, right? Freedom is knowing that you can be there for field trips and you can be there for proms and whatever your kids are going through right now. You can be there and you can financially put them in activities. You can financially help them with college if they're going to college. You can financially help them with their cars. You can be that mom that you always wanted to be. So when it comes to talking to the girl on the other side of your screen, she may not be identical to you. She may not be you, but something breaks her heart. And she's not going to relate to the fact that you have an $800 bonus available in your first 14 days and that yada, 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 yada. Like all the bells and whistles that we have with this company is incredible, of course, but she's going to relate to where you can take her. And the only way that she is going to feel like you can take her somewhere is if you believe that you can take yourself somewhere and you start showing up and you start talking about where you're going and what your goals are and what you're working towards. So what if Amber doesn't go 12K in March or in April? I'm still showing up. I'm still talking about what I'm working towards because there's another mother, there's another mama whose heart is broken by the time clock too, right? Not everybody's story is going to be my story, and I'm okay with that. And it took me a really, really long time to get over the fear of what other people were going to think about me. But let me tell you a story. It took me a really long time to get comfortable. It's still very uncomfortable, but like somewhat comfortable with me talking about the fact that I don't like being a nurse because I used to worry about two things. I worried about what my mom would think about me because my mother pushed me into going to college and she said college is not an option, and I was forced into picking, and I just picked willy-nilly what I wanted to do. I like to help people, but I didn't know what I was really getting into, and I didn't know that it was going to break my heart as much as it did. But I also used to sit in the fear of what is everybody else at the hospital going to think of me? Because let's just be honest, everybody else at the hospital, as much as there's so many nurses that are burnt out just like me, not everybody has a brain cell for network marketing. Most people don't have a brain cell for network marketing, right? They don't get it. They don't understand it. Other people that you work with that are your coworkers and whatnot, they may not even be in the same generation as you. And they may not get you as a person. But let me tell you, was it last week? It was, y'all, I did 5 live videos last week. I don't know who I was, but I did 5 live videos last week. I felt like Karen, because Karen's always going live. Like she's just like, it's her jam. She loves it. But like, it's always been like, to me. But I did 5 live videos, and I did one where I was sharing my story with sitting down with my chief nursing officer, and she told me sometimes that's just the way it is. When I poured my heart out to her and I told her why I wanted to apply for a job because I wanted more time with my family and yada, yada, yada. And she told me, like, suck it up, buttercup. Basically, like, I used to not see my family too, and sometimes that's just the way it is. And I told my story, and like, I cannot tell you how sweaty I was during that live video. Like, I was so nervous. I was still thinking about what other people were going to think about me, specifically the people who are in my current profession. And a girl at work who never would have said this, she came up to me the other day and she goes, I was watching your video that you did the other night. She has not liked or commented on anything, but she came up to me and she said, I was watching that video and that meant a lot. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And so I can see exactly what you're fighting for. And I'm proud that you're doing something that means a lot to you, because a lot of us are just sitting here and we don't feel like there is any other option for us. And I was just like, I'm on the right path, right? I'm on the right path. And so if you can catch yourself in these moments where you feel like you're thinking about what other people are going to think about you, or you're worried about how the post is going to come across, or what the live video is going to sound like, or if you stumble up on your words, or if anybody at all is going to hop on your live video or your training or your Zoom or whatever, if you catch yourself in that moment, I want you to use that as a moment of emotional awareness, and know that at that moment, you can turn it around. It's kind of like the red light, green light stories that Bob Heilig talks about. The Legacy Leadership Academy is what I'm doing with him. And he talks about your red light stories, the things that you think about yourself, your limiting beliefs, and how what you think translates into the actions that you take or you don't take, and the results that you either get or you don't get. And if you find yourself in these moments where you're doubting yourself or you're feeling like you're not enough, catch yourself and check yourself real quick. And if you can increase your speed of implementation, if you can say, nope, I'm not going to think that, I am enough, I am strong, somebody needs my message, and boom, you click that live button and you're doing it, or you're face to face on your stories and you're doing it. And maybe you fumble through, and maybe you have sweaty armpits, and maybe nobody hops on, maybe nobody likes it or nobody comments. You still showed up for you, and you are becoming the woman that you need to be able to achieve your goals. And taking messy action like that, taking messy action and doing it when you don't feel ready and you don't feel prepared and you don't feel like you know what you're doing. Hello, I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing most days. In taking action, you get one of two things. You either get the result that you want, right? You get that customer, you get that promoter that's like, girl, like that live video inspired me. You look back, she never liked or commented on anything, but you still inspired her. You didn't even know it. You're going to see all these people come out of the woodwork and you'll be like, where'd you come from? I've never talked to you in my life. I've been watching you for 8 months, girl. No, you haven't, right? This is how it happens. You either get the result that you're looking for, right? Or you get the lesson that you needed. And maybe it is putting up a post and getting 2 likes and putting in A+ effort and sitting there for 45 minutes and wasting time on a post that you got 2 likes on, and realizing, my lesson here is I thought about it too much. I overthunk. Is that a word? I thunk it, Lord. And it got me nowhere because hello, laundry's done. It got me nowhere because it didn't come off authentically, right? So you're either going to get the result that you want or the lesson that you need. And if you can get over yourself enough to realize that when somebody says no, when somebody says they didn't like their 3-day trial or whatever, or somebody says they're ready to sign up and then they don't, or if somebody signs up and they ghost you or they're gone, it has no reflection on you as a person. It has no reflection on you as a person, on you as a leader, on your integrity, on your heart, on your values. But we sit there and we think that it means that we got 2 likes on our post, that we're not good enough, or that maybe we can't do it, or that maybe nobody likes it, right? Or that maybe nobody wants my product, or maybe like nobody cares that I don't want to work my job for the rest of my life and that I want to do something different, right? We get into our head and we're really, really mean to ourselves. And the number one person you're going to have to protect yourself from in this industry is yourself. is 100% yourself. So stop beating yourself up. Stop feeling like you're not good enough. Stop feeling like you can't do it. Stop feeling like you don't know what you're doing. And know that it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy and it's going to be uphill a little bit. But when you get to the top of the mountain and you look around, it's going to be so beautiful because you climbed, right? And you got sweaty and you got dirty and you gained a little bit of muscle along the way. And you started to show up as that leader that that girl on the other side of your screen needs. And you started to show up as the person that you always wanted to be, right? You always wanted to be confident. You always wanted to feel like you had your shit together. I just muffled myself. You always wanted to just like shine. But why are we so afraid to do it? Why are we so afraid to do it? And if you feel like you're stuck in putting out perfect content and being perfect, there are going to be days where you told yourself you were going to do a live video, or you told yourself that you were going to go face to face on your stories, and then it was just a lot easier to put up a post. Pinterest quote. And then in the moment you feel really, really good because you're like, I didn't have to do that live video. Right? It feels really good. It's like instant gratification, right? Whew, dodge that bullet, right? Try better tomorrow, right? I'm sorry I did that to you guys. I made you guys feel like you can just have like shitty days all the time and just pick it up tomorrow, and you can, but you cannot sit there in your shitty days, okay? And you're gonna feel like you dodged a bullet by not doing the live video. You're gonna feel like you still touched your business. You're gonna feel like you were still productive in your business. But at the end of the day, you lay your head on your pillow and you're gonna say, I should have. I told myself I was gonna do it and I didn't do it. And then you're gonna beat yourself up at night over it. And when you get to the moment where you feel like you're having like sweaty armpits and you don't want to do the thing that makes you really, really uncomfortable, I want you to remember that being uncomfortable is the currency of your dreams. If you want big things for your life, if you have big goals and you have big dreams, it's going to take being uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, is it easier to not push live? Is it easier not to go face to face on your stories? Of course it is. Is it easier not to talk about things that you've been through, things that you've struggled with, things that you're working towards? And even though you're not there yet, is it easier? Yes. But what does it cost you in the long run? Is the question that we really need to be asking ourselves. What does it cost you to not go live? What does it cost you not to go face to face on your stories? What does it cost you not to share your truth, to share your story? It's going to cost you not connecting with the next girl. It's going to cost you the fact that she signed up with someone else who was willing to talk about it, and you were sitting over there being scared. It's going to cost you that customer. It's going to cost you that teammate. It's going to cost you, in the long run, your sense of accomplishment, because you know that you didn't show up 100%. And I don't want you guys to get to the end of April. I don't want May 1st to turn around and you think to yourself, I should have, right? I should have gone face to face. I should have talked about this, or I should have talked about that, or I should have just like mustered up the courage to do a live video, or I should have sold some samples or whatever, right? I want you to get to May 1st through this bonus season, whether we hit bonuses or not. I want you to get to May 1st and say, I showed up for me. And I'm proud of me. And I will always say, choose proud over perfect. Proud over perfect. Are you proud of the work that you put in for your business today? I may not have been able to do as much for my business today because I worked 12 hours than I was yesterday when I was home all day. But guess what? I'm still proud of the effort that I put into my business today. And that at the end of the day is on us, right? None of us can come to each other's house and say, put your shoes on, we're going running. Put your shoes on, we're going to the gym, right? Put those products on your stories. Turn that camera around, get uncomfortable, go face to face and connect with that next girl. We can't do that to each other, right? I'm not responsible for your business. You're not responsible for my business. But what we are responsible for is this up here. And at the end of the day, this is what's going to be your business builder. Because when you can check this, you can check everything. And you become in control of your business, of your day, of your week, of your life. And you stand a little taller, right? And you're a little bit more confident. And you look back and you're like, damn, I've grown so much. I've grown so much. And you start to realize that this is about the bigger picture. Yes, creating financial freedom and time freedom, but I want you to think a little bit bigger, that maybe this is preparing you for something else too. That maybe you're stepping into something bigger in your life down the road, and maybe this is preparing you to be a better mama. Maybe this is preparing you to be a better leader for your church. Maybe this is preparing you, do you know what I mean? Like, this is preparing you to be a better person so that you can leave this world a brighter place than you stepped into it. It's about the legacy that we're leaving for our children, right? Our children are going to grow up so much more fierce than any of us were, right? Because we're going to show them what confidence is, and we're going to show them what perseverance is. And stop, my husband's walking around in underwear. We are going to show them what it's like to go first, what it's like to do something that's uncomfortable, what it's like. He's literally sneaking in there for kisses and hugs. We show them that they are capable of anything that they put their minds to, right? And it's through this. It's through this that we leave a legacy for other people. So that, ooh, this is going to sound morbid, but so that when we die, there's still something being said about our name, right? That's kind of powerful. Not everybody has that vision, but I get it. So increase your speed of implementation. I'll put some notes here at the end. Discomfort is the currency of your dreams. That was powerful. Proud over perfect. We've talked about that before. Embrace the growth. When you fail, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. Stop comparing yourself to other people. If you get on somebody else's social media and you start feeling like, God, you get into that negative space and you're like, how come I'm not there? How come? There she goes again, right? If somebody makes you feel that way, I want you to unfollow them. If I make you feel that way, I want you to unfollow me, okay? You may not need me in this season, right? If anybody makes you feel that way, I want you to unfollow them. I want you to stay in your own lane, and I want you to focus forward on what you came here for, and that you have a bigger purpose here, and that you are enough, and that you can do this, right? You look yourself in the mirror every single morning and you say, I can do this. I am here for a reason. The last thing I wrote down was keep more promises to yourself. There was a little video that Mel Robbins did. If you guys know who Mel Robbins is, look her up on Instagram. She's got like these short videos that I absolutely love her take on things. And she's got one thing that I've been using for a very long time. It's called the 5-second rule. And what that means is conquering your mind. It's managing your mind. First thing in the morning, it's cold outside, it's rainy. You're not going to feel like getting up and going to the gym. You're not going to feel like doing that workout. You're not going to feel like you just want to pull the covers back over. What's 20 more minutes? What's 30 more minutes? And you conquer your mind first thing in the morning. It's like a rocket launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're gone. Like there's no questions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you do the thing that you don't want to do. You're going live and you're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you just push the button and go, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're face to face on your stories. Implementing that rule has changed a lot for me in showing up for myself and keeping promises to myself. That alarm that you set every single morning, she did a video on this the other day. It was awesome. She said that alarm clock that you set in the morning, that's a promise that you made to yourself. You told yourself the night before, I'm getting up at whatever o'clock. I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then the next morning came around, you became a totally different person, and you broke that promise to yourself. And when you break that promise to yourself, you're telling yourself that you don't think that you're capable, that you don't feel like you're enough, that you don't feel like you can do it. And in the long run, you lose your morning, you lose your day. It's like I said on my stories the other day, you own your morning, you own your day, you own your day, you own your week, right? And eventually it turns into owning your life because you've become so self-disciplined and you've become so emotionally intelligent. And what that means is being able to control your mind, being able to say, I'm not going to think like that. Nope. Sorry, bye, Felicia. We ain't doing that today. Right? Being able to control your mind and realizing that in any given moment, business, life, whatever, you could go brain from worst case scenario, best case scenario, probably is going to happen scenario, right? Worst case scenario, best case scenario, this could legit happen scenario, right? But the thing is that we get to choose. We get to choose what story we tell ourselves. And it's the story that you tell yourself that reflects in the actions that you take, the reflection in the results that you get. And it all boils down to that, right? I hope you got something out of this. I kept it kind of short. It's 40 minutes. So let's just call it a night. And I hope this helped. I hope that you go into the rest of this bonus season and you know that you're putting in the work to be able to get you to that next level. And you're going to turn around and you're going to be so thankful. You're either going to be so thankful that you did this, that you were consistent, that you kept those promises to yourself, or you're going to turn around on May 1st and you're going to be like, God damn, why did I do that to myself again? Right? You get to pick which one you're going to be. I love you guys. Good night.